The stage lights of America's Got Talent burn bright, but Dr. Angela Dela Cruz stands just behind the curtain, pressing a gentle hand to her chest as she listens to the loud noise of the crowd. She is only 29, yet her eyes already carry the softness of someone who has seen both pain and hope in equal measure. Back home in Manila, she is known as Dr. Angela, the kind-hearted physician who always smiles at her patients even when she is tired, even when her shift stretches deep into the night. Tonight, however, she is not in a hospital ward with beeping machines and worried families. Tonight she is on one of the biggest stages in the world, holding a microphone instead of a stethoscope. A staff member whispers, "You're next," and she steps forward, her white coat folded carefully over her arm like a symbol of the life she has temporarily placed aside. Her outfit is simple, a modest dress in soft pastel colors, nothing flashy, nothing overly glamorous. She doesn't need it. There is something naturally luminous about her, a gentle glow in her face that comes from the way she looks at people, as if every soul she meets is important. As she walks to the center of the stage, the crowd sees her nervous smile, and a respectful hush begins to fall over the room. They don't know who she is yet, but they can feel her sincerity. "Hello," the host announces, but the judges want to hear from her. Simon Cowell leans forward, studying her carefully. "Hi," he says. "What's your name, please?" Angela adjusts the microphone slightly, her voice soft but clear. "My name is Dr. Angela Dela Cruz," she replies. The word "doctor" instantly catches the judge's attention. The audience murmurs. A doctor from the Philippines standing on the AGT stage, it's unusual, it's interesting, and it makes everyone curious. How does a full-time physician find herself in front of millions, ready to sing? Simon raises an eyebrow. "You're a real doctor? That's your full-time job?" She nods, her smile growing a little more confident now that she is talking about something familiar. "Yes, I'm an internal medicine doctor in Manila," she explains. "I work in a public hospital. I love my patients, but I also love singing." Her accent carries the gentle rhythm of Filipino English, warm and melodic, which somehow makes her even more endearing to the audience. The other judges smile, feeling the honesty in her words. There is nothing arrogant in her tone, only humble pride in who she is and where she comes from. Simon pauses, then asks the simple but powerful question, "So why did you come to America's Got Talent?" The camera zooms in on her face, catching the emotion beginning to rise in her eyes. "In the hospital," she says slowly, "I see people in pain every day. Sometimes I sing for them, very softly, to help them relax, to help them forget for a moment. Music has always been my way to heal hearts, not just bodies. I came here because I want to share that part of me with the world, and I want Filipinos watching from Manila, Cebu, Davao, everywhere in the Philippines, to believe that even ordinary people like us can stand on this stage." You can feel the energy in the room shift. The crowd is not just watching a contestant anymore, they are witnessing someone who carries two worlds within her. On one side, the clinical world of diagnoses, prescriptions, and emergency calls. On the other, the emotional world of melodies, lyrics, and the unseen comfort that music brings. The judges recognize this contrast, and it makes her story powerful. She is not chasing fame blindly, she is chasing a deeper purpose, a way to multiply the kindness she already gives every day in hospital corridors that never sleep. As the host steps aside and the lights prepare to dim, Angela takes one last steadying breath. In her mind, she sees her patients back in Manila, the elderly woman who cried less when Angela sang a hymn at her bedside, the young boy with fear in his eyes who calmed down when he heard her humming, the tired nurses who smiled when her voice floated softly through the ward during a long night shift. All of them are with her, silently cheering from thousands of miles away. She closes her eyes for a second, whispers a quick prayer in her heart for courage, then opens them again to face the bright, waiting stage of America's Got Talent. The studio falls into a deep, anticipatory silence as the lights slowly dim and a single soft spotlight settles on Angela. The glow forms a delicate circle around her, making her appear almost weightless, like she is floating in her own universe. She holds the microphone with both hands, steady but gentle, the way she holds her stethoscope when leaning over a fragile patient. The crowd senses something unusual about her presence, not dramatic, not theatrical, but calm and honest in a way that reaches people without needing words. The first gentle note of her background music begins to play, and for a moment, Angela closes her eyes. She does not rush. She feels the music, breathes into it, and lets her mind travel back to Manila's early mornings when the hospital corridors were still quiet. She remembers singing softly to keep herself awake during long shifts, humming melodies to ease her own stress, and offering small musical moments to patients who needed comfort more than medicine. That same emotional memory settles into her chest now, guiding her voice. Then she begins to sing. The very first note floats out of her with an effortless purity that instantly silences the entire room. It is soft yet strong, delicate yet confident, an angelic tone that carries a sense of sincerity no amount of training can fake. People in the audience sit up straighter, their eyes widening. Some of the judges exchange quick glances, surprised by the unexpected control in her voice. She is not just singing, she is storytelling with every breath. Her voice rises like a slow sunrise, warm and gentle, glowing brighter with each second. It fills the huge stage, wraps around the seats, and reaches even the farthest corners of the auditorium with the kind of clarity that makes people forget they are listening to a performance. It feels intimate, personal, almost like she is singing directly to each individual person. Midway through the song, she shifts into a higher register. The transition is flawless, smooth, emotional, filled with vulnerability and strength at the same time. It's a kind of sound that makes the audience's throats tighten, their hearts beat slower. Angela sings with the emotion of someone who has held the hands of patients in their weakest moments, someone who understands life's unpredictable fragility. Every note feels like it carries a piece of her soul. The camera zooms in on Simon Cowell. He sits frozen, leaning forward, his face reflecting genuine shock. He is not blinking. It is rare for him to be caught off guard, but Angela's voice pulls him in like a force he cannot resist. He listens more intensely with every passing second, studying her expression, hearing the raw tenderness in her voice. It is the sound of someone who sees the world differently, someone who connects deeply with emotion instead of fame. As Angela reaches the strongest part of the song, her voice blooms fully, rich, powerful, and soaring with heartfelt conviction. The audience is completely breathless. The air feels thick with emotion. People who came expecting entertainment find themselves moved in ways they did not anticipate. A few audience members press their hands to their mouths, their eyes glistening, feeling something familiar yet indescribably beautiful. But it isn't just the high notes that captivate, it's how she returns to a soft, whisper-like tenderness afterward. That shift reveals her true skill. She can soar, and she can soothe. Her voice becomes a warm blanket wrapped around the hearts of everyone listening. There is no strain, no showmanship, only pure sincerity. Every lyric sounds like a prayer. Every rise and fall of her tone sounds like a heartbeat. Her singing becomes an emotional confession, revealing layers of compassion shaped by her life as a doctor in Manila. She pours herself into the last line, holding the final note with breathtaking steadiness, letting it fade naturally into a deep, awe-filled silence. And in that silence, the world forgets to breathe, the final note lingers in the air like a soft echo, fading slowly into the silence that fills the enormous AGT studio. For a brief moment, no one moves, no one claps, no one even breathes. It is as if the entire room has been placed under a gentle spell, held captive by the purity of the voice they just heard. Angela stands in the middle of the stage, still holding the microphone close to her lips, her chest rising and falling lightly as she tries to steady her breathing. She cannot see the details of the crowd through the bright lights, but she can feel their emotion like a wave pressing softly against her. Then the silence breaks. A thunderous applause explodes from every corner of the auditorium. People rise to their feet almost in perfect unison, not out of habit but out of genuine admiration. Their cheers grow louder and louder, echoing off the high ceilings, cascading back toward the stage. Angela's eyes widen in shock, and her lips part slightly, overwhelmed by the reaction. She places her free hand over her heart as if trying to control the sudden rush of emotion. Simon Cowell, usually the most difficult judge to impress, is still sitting, frozen, not because he is unimpressed, but because he is processing what he just witnessed. His expression is unreadable for a few seconds, his eyes locked on Angela with an intensity that suggests he is studying her beyond the performance, trying to understand the depth of what she just delivered. Slowly, he rises to his feet, and the crowd roars even louder at the rare sight. Angela looks at the judges' panel, unsure of what comes next. Simon leans into the microphone, shaking his head slightly as if he cannot believe his own thoughts. His voice is calm, but there is a clear emotional weight to it. Angela, he begins, pausing as if trying to find the correct words. You are not just a doctor who happens to sing. You are an artist. A real artist. There is something incredibly rare about you. Something people cannot teach. The studio falls silent again as everyone leans in to hear him. Simon continues, his tone more sincere than usual. Your voice, it feels like healing. It feels like it comes from a place inside you that has witnessed life, witnessed pain, witnessed hope. And when you sing, you give all of that to us. I felt it. We all felt it. Howie leans forward, adding, you have a gentleness that makes people feel safe when you sing. That is a gift, Angela. Not many performers can make an entire room feel something so real. Sophia is smiling warmly, her eyes shimmering. I could feel your kindness through your voice. It was beautiful, emotional, and honest. Heidi nods enthusiastically. You have a soul voice. It's like your heart is singing. It was unforgettable. The camera cuts to Angela, who is now fighting to keep her composure. Her throat tightens, her eyes glisten, and she bites her lower lip to prevent tears from spilling over. She has spent years caring for patients, speaking gently to people in their most vulnerable moments, giving comfort even when she herself felt tired or scared. Tonight, for the first time, she realizes she has allowed the world to care for her in return. Simon raises his hand as if making a final declaration. You deserve this stage. You deserve to be heard. And I think this is only the beginning for you. The audience cheers again, louder than before, sensing that something extraordinary has just been born on stage, a Filipino doctor from Manila who stepped onto AGT not as a celebrity, but as a healer, and ended up singing in a way that touched millions.